Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Chainlink. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. So taking a look at the daily chart, if you haven't seen the previous update, you want to watch that before watching this one so that you have more context, because we're going to be talking about some things that are already mentioned in those previous updates. So feel free to take a look at that. But essentially what we saw here is a wave 5 structure, and we printed the local top. And in my opinion, this could have been a massive wave 1 for Chainlink. Now we're going to look for a wave 2 bottom, which is going to be the C leg low of the ABC correction that we're going to be getting right now. So that's going to be the wave 2. Then the wave 3 is going to be the massive wave that's going to take us into new all-time high territory. Then we're going to have a retracement. And then obviously we're going to have a peak sometime, hopefully by the end of 2024, early 2025. That is the idea here. So this was our first set of the 5 Elliott wave structure that we had. And so what are we looking at here on the daily chart in terms of the price action? So you can see that we do have a support block between $16.50 down to $13.13. In my opinion, this is going to be where the bottom of this wave 2 is going to be. And this is where the bottom of the C leg is going to be, right? So we're printing the A wave, which is going to be the first wave of the ABC correction. Then we have an B retracement to the upside, which is going to be a lower high. So we could, let's say, get back to $20. Or let's say we retest this resistance here at $19. And then from that, we're going to get a rejection and we print a C leg low, potentially taking us down to these lows from January 2024 at $13.13-ish. That's what we're looking at. If we do end up dropping lower, that's great. Just make sure you set up some buy limit orders in advance. We can take a look at this little trading range. Let's make that purple. So with this trading range, you can see that we do have a touch in November 2023 and a touch of support in October 2023. And from there we exploded, but we haven't really retested this area and we haven't grabbed liquidity from this area. So maybe that's what we're going to do if we end up breaking below the support of the yellow block. We're going to land into this block, which is between $10.40 and $11.60. That's going to be another level for us to look at. And again, you can set up buy limit orders with all of these prices, and some of them might get filled, some of them might not, but at least you're ready for anything. Looking at the daily RSI, you can see that we did have a few bearish divergences in a row and one bullish divergence here. So the RSI is dipping and it's getting close to our January 2024 levels. Actually, we're dropping below that here. We're dropping below the January 2024 levels. So what I would look for is a retest of the oversold. And we did see that over here back in June 2023, as well as August 2023. And very close to that area in January 2024. So if we're able to do that again here in March/April 2024, that is going to be a really good entry point for all of you guys entering Chainlink if you haven't bought in. And of course, a reminder, we were looking at Chainlink throughout the bear market. We were expecting this massive breakout for ages. We had this 500-day plus sideways channel that we finally broke out of in October 2023. So you had enough time to accumulate between $6 to $7 here. And if you didn't buy these prices, then you're obviously going to be looking to buy in right now if you're watching this video. So feel free to take a look at these support levels. Anything below $10, I would say, is unrealistic. Yeah, you don't want to look at some levels and think, hey, $8 seems like a nice price. That's where I'm going to buy Link. Well, that's not how the markets work. They don't go down to a specific level you set, right? So you have to adjust yourself to the market. The market gave you enough time here. You chose not to buy, so now you have to adjust, and you're going to understand that, you know, the returns aren't going to be as good, but still, this is going to be a good entry point. Now let's switch over to the weekly chart. And before we continue with the video, I quickly want to mention my Patreon that's linked down below in the description. If you enjoy my content, you want to get more exclusive content, and you want to support me at the same time, definitely feel free to check out the Patreon, because you're going to get a 7-day free access on my Patreon and an instant access to all of my content since October 2021, which is when I started. You'll get access to content like exclusive weekly podcasts, and we're starting to invite guests already. We have 40 plus low cap gem posts. We have a bunch of project reviews. We have a bunch of resources that are going to help you save time and make more money with this upcoming bull market. So this is definitely a great exchange of value for the both of us. And once again, there's a 7-day free trial. Feel free to check it out. You can leave anytime, and let's continue with the video. Taking a look at the weekly, you can see that we have a Fibonacci retracement set up from the bottom in July 2023 to the all-time high in May 2021. We saw a nice explosion here, as you can see, bounce off the 20 MA and a move right into the golden ratio at $21.67. So this is an important retest here, because we did print the high, we did print the low, and now you're trying to come back up and you're running into the most important resistance level. So what we could have here is a dead cat bounce, where we reject the 0.618 and we come back down to the bottom that we created here in June 2023. Now, the only way for us to invalidate that potential scenario, right, is first of all to hold the 20 EMA, which again would be a perfect level for us to hold on the weekly chart, which is this local top from November/December last year and the 20 EMA on the weekly. This would be a perfect level for us to retest, and we can start consolidating there for quite a bit until we decide to move up to $30 here with Chainlink. Until that happens, you know, we could maybe see even wicks below, and we could also come back down into this trading range that we already talked about on the daily chart. We also have this support trend line coming into play from June 2023. I doubt we're going to touch it, but again, anything can happen. You don't know what kind of a flash crash we could have. If you see a flash crash down to, let's say, 950 on Chainlink, and you're sitting at the support here of that trend line, make sure to look at some buying opportunities, because every time we touched it, we had a bounce. That's just in case we get a flash crash or in case we get a black swan event, right? I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying that that's a possibility that we have, and we should be ready for anything. So we have a few of those support levels. Of course, the 55 EMA here is going to be your plan B, so to speak. $12.72 at the moment. If we lose the 20 EMA, which hopefully we don't, but if we do, the 55 EMA should be there to carry you up. And you also have this January 2024 low that we also covered already on the daily chart. So if we start zooming in, you can take a look at some of the targets to the upside that we're going to be looking at in April, May, June, July, and up until the end of the year. So we have $31.70, which is the 0.786 Fibonacci. Then we have the all-time high at $52. And then we have our minimal target at $99 here, or $98, which is the 1.272 Fibonacci retracement level. From there, we do have another target at the 1.414, which is $136. I don't know, honestly, if we're going to be able to go that high. Chainlink could definitely go that high, but are you willing to sit around with your entire bag until $136? I probably wouldn't be, right? I probably wouldn't be waiting that long. So make sure you strategize, make sure you have some take profit zones set up in advance, just so you're not poking the sky and thinking I'm gonna sell some here, and then the price gets to where you were planning to sell, and then you're like, oh no, I'm gonna wait a bit longer. So once you start playing that game, it's very dangerous, because you could keep moving your sell price higher and higher until you get to the crash, and then you're gonna sell at minimum profit. So to avoid that, just make sure you're taking profits as we're going up. That way your average is going to be somewhere at $90, let's say, if we get past 100. Of course, none of this is financial advice. Taking a look at the weekly RSI, let's see what's going on here. So we have a pretty big weekly bearish divergence from what I'm seeing. So immediately you have this lower high on the RSI, and you have this higher high on the price action. So right now we're looking for a pullback, and this is a pretty significant bearish divergence on the weekly chart. I'm gonna have to make that clear to you guys. We could see a bit of a stronger sell-off here for Chainlink, although it has been performing very well. I don't think the buyers are gonna let Chainlink drop anywhere below, you know, the 200 EMA. That's at least what I think. So that's your worst case scenario, is the 200 EMA on the weekly retest. Worst case scenario, in my opinion, but of course I could be wrong. Looking at the RSI on the weekly, we are in this support block that we have been retesting multiple times. I did give you this level back in, you know, right after we pumped here in October. I gave you this level based on a few touches we had from 2021, 2023 here, multiple touches, and we came back into that zone in January and had a nice bounce from there. So once again, we are in that zone. Hopefully we can hold it as support. If not, look for the yellow trend line to hold us as support. It has done so since June 2022. If we break below it, that's not going to be very good. I'm not going to lie. That's not going to be very good. And at that point, you want to be looking at some of these support levels here. You're going to try to catch a low, which this 44 level on the index seems to be a good area for us to bounce off of in case we do lose the block and the yellow trend line, because we did see a bounce from this area multiple times over the past 5 years. So we could have another bounce in case we get a bit more bearish on Chainlink, but you know, that would require more selling pressure here. And if we take a look at the volume indicator and we zoom in a bit, you can see we're getting a bit more volume coming into Chainlink, which is very nice. We want to get more volume, and hopefully that's what we're going to see during the alt season after the halving, and that is going to be taking us off into the wave 3 that we are expecting for Chainlink in the next few months. The stochastic is trying to recover from the overbought, so in case we do drop back down into the oversold here below the index of 30, so you can look into the stochastic to drop below the index of 20 into the oversold, just like we did over here in June 2023 and in October and November 2022. If we manage to do that exact same thing again, historically speaking, over the past few years, that was a really, really good buying opportunity for you. So make sure you don't miss out on that. Of course, once again, not financial advice. So that should cover Chainlink for you, and hopefully you were buying in during this bear market. Like I said, I want to thank you all for watching this video. Stay safe and take care.